Hey guys, this podcast Island episode number 8. Took nearly 2 months off, but we're back. I am currently your host, Trinity Collins. With me is former Southern Connecticut State University's All Conference and All New England track and field pole vaulter, JackBrown. This podcast can only be viewed on YouTube at the One Man Island Productions YouTube channel. Clips of this podcast can be viewed on Instagram and TikTok. Jack Brown, how you doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I am doing swell. Got back from Baltimore like over a week ago, and it feels like I never left. Honestly, you know how you like leave your hometown and you come back and nothing's changed. So it
Yep.
kind of feels like time stood still a little bit.
Yep. That's exactly how I was last week because I was just in Vermont visiting family, and
Really, how long were you there?
for like 3 days, and then I'd expect at least one or two things to change up there, but nothing changes up in up in Linden. So
Yeah, outside of in Milltown, there's like it's a small population. It's like 45,000 people. But I have noticed that like if you're on Main Street, no, sorry, Washington Street, that's where like Palmer Field is at, Iliano's, Home Depot, a lot of the main drag is.
mhm.
They added Jersey Mike's, Chipotle, I think an auto store, many other stuff there. And around the corner, I think they cut down some trees and about to add like more houses. So like it feels a little different
Mhm.
nowadays. But like before I got back, I was just focusing on applying for jobs everywhere. I got applied to Wesleyan as a sports assistant information director. Uh, I think I tried contacting Ken Sweden at Southern. He hasn't gotten back to me yet, so that's kind of disappointing. But other than that, it's just been applying and applying and just waiting for an opportunity right now. Same thing with you.
Yeah, I've been just applying for jobs constantly. I just became a registered athletic administrator.
Really?
Yep. So hoping to use that as like kind of a leverage to market and throw myself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been just based on my internships and the work I've done in the past. I've applied for a lot of you know like recreational programming, internal and external operations for
Mm-hmm.
schools like University of New Haven, Western Connecticut State University. Um, I haven't.
I think New
Yeah.
Haven has a job opening for a head coach, for at least a coach as a track and field coach, is some kind of like assistant coach or something like that. So,
Yeah, I've gone down the road of coaching,
oh,
and
you realize that wasn't for you.
yeah, I just learned very quickly that well, not very quickly, but I've learned that over time that coaching is not really my deep passion.
Right.
Like, I mean, I have a passion for my sport,
Mm-hmm.
for track and field and coaching the pole vault specifically. But kind of over the past several months, I just kept thinking to myself, I want to progress forward from where I
Right.
am. I experienced coaching. It's been a hell of a ride, but it's not really my deep like passion to really pursue. I mean, for other people that I know, that like coaching and like that's they learned very quickly that's what they want to do, and they're
Right.
really killing it in that field, and that's awesome. But it's just really not. I want to work in like the
Administrative part
like
of
just
like the sport.
yeah, just the administrative part of things. I like kind of organization. I like
Mm-hmm.
handling the logistics of the.
It's interesting you say that because the topic today is pretty much like so you're a year older than me, so you've been 2 years out of school after you got your master's degree.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a year out after getting my journalism degree at Morgan State University. And so I want to talk about like the days leading up to your graduation. Were you nervous at all? The fact that like this is your final days as an athlete, your final days in school, and now you're going to be, I guess, a real adult. You're going to have to like take care. You won't have this latitude of like I'm an athlete, I'm a student. You're just a guy now.
Yeah. For after I like graduated from my master's program,
Yeah.
I after our very last outdoor meet in the year of 21, the spring of 21, like right when the 4x4 ended, I just completely kind of just broke down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was tearing up. I went over to Coach Wallen. I was really tearing up, crying, and I was just like thanking him so much, and it just like it was really overwhelming, knowing that like I spent, if I if you do the math, it's like almost a third of my life
Right.
right now, you
Track
know,
and field.
dedicating myself to this sport,
Hmm.
and now all of a sudden it's like
It's gone. Like
it's gone.
as soon as he crosses the finish line, the last person crosses the finish line, it's over.
Yep, that's it. It's yeah, and then what was what was worse about it was I was just giving all my teammates a hug and like wishing the best of luck to the lower classmen as they continue to finish up their athletic career. But I drove myself to the meet. So
Where
like
was the meet?
it was it was in that New Britain track area.
Oh, it was Memorial Stadium.
Yep, Memorial Stadium. Yep.
I only went there once because there was like a HBCU game going on when I was like maybe 8 or 9 years old. That was the only time. That was like one of the 2 times I ever went there. The last time I went there was my very last high school track meet, and I performed so poorly, and I was so disappointed because I just like my very last meet as a high schooler. I wasn't sure if I was going to do collegiate track and field, but like at that time I was like, this is how it ends. My last meet is just like one of my worst races in my entire life. It kind of felt like one of those like when you're like a professional athlete when you're like playing in a Super Bowl or a World Series and you play so poorly that you're wondering what happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I felt. I kind of like sitting on a pole. There's like a pole right outside the 400 meter or outside the finish line. I was sitting right there for like a good 5 minutes, just disappointed myself.
Mm. It's hard. It's really hard. After the meet, I got in my car and I was driving back home and I was just crying the entire time because just like it's a real like kind of slap in the chest really just like knowing that like hey it's gone now. But yeah I so that as far as like results wise my my very very last year of track and field results wise wasn't my best year.
Wasn't?
Really wasn't because I wanted to win every single meet. I really wanted to leave the outdoor season undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
That was my biggest goal was to try and leave the outdoor season undefeated. And I came up short in a couple of meets. And it's just but as far as personal best wise and consistently, my last year of pole vault was by far my best one.
Wow.
I was hitting 16, like 16 feet every single meet. I cleared above 5 meters. I cleared 503, and that put me at like number 5 Southern all time, and that was a like a big accomplishment of mine. But I came second in conference due to poor performances, like just it's kind of just like what you said.
Yeah.
It's like the meet where you really wanted to like just kick ass,
Yeah.
and then I perform really poorly. I'm just like, what happened?
Exactly.
It was the same thing with conference, and then the following week, I came second in New England's, and that was like, that was when I felt the most like kind of just let down on myself. But honestly, it took maybe 2 weeks to kind of like snap back into reality. And I just took a lot of time just to, just be proud of what I've done. Or just be proud of like, hey, I came into Southern as this guy. Now I'm leaving as this guy.
So you had like a transformation of like with the level of maturity and just ability to at least handle certain aspects of defeat or success. You were able to handle that throughout your 6 years at Southern.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like with college sports, I've had like a lot of ups, but I've also had a lot of downs. especially with myself, like physically, mentally, and now when I face real life like problems,
Mm-hmm.
like handling, work and scheduling and organization and paying off bills,
Right.
like I face certain aspects in real life, and I just kind of sit down and I go, you know what, like the things I went through at Southern were way worse.
Yeah.
Were way worse. So it's like I'm much better off, and I could just handle it.
I remember. Well, I remember like going into my final year of track and field. So my track and field career ended a year earlier than yours,
Hmm.
which is funny because like normally like the older kids' careers ended faster than the kids are younger.
Yeah.
But like I remember because my final season was 2019 into 2020, interesting year for that one, and I wanted my last because I just knew it wasn't gonna be my last year. Like I knew I wasn't gonna go pro. Didn't have to fast. It wasn't fast enough. So I was like, I want my last year to be fun.
Hmm.
I just want to run fast and have fun, and that's what I did. And that was like my most consistent year of my career in workouts, in meets, and when we went to Boston for the last chance meet, me, Justin Kelly, Elijah Henry, and Nigel Green, all four of us, because we were already in New England, but we didn't really qualify automatically, and we knew that there were teams there trying to at least nudge us back down a peg. I think that was San Francisco, maybe a team from Texas, maybe don't remember exactly. And my goal was just screw it, go for it.
Hmm.
It's kind of like Patrick Mahomes or just go for the home run, go for the touchdown, go for everything, and
Toss up in the air. Hopefully Tyreek Hill's over there.
yeah, like Terry Hill's down there somewhere.
Yeah, he's down there somewhere.
Yeah, and like I just remember, I was running and I got the baton at first because he started off the race. That was his only event the entire day. That was his only purpose was to run that event. So he got there, gave me the baton with like a good 20 meters lead, maybe less than that, and that's the thing I hate is getting baton in the lead because like now they're chasing me. I don't know where they are. You can't look back.
Hmm.
But I started sprinting and I was like, got the baton. I gave the baton to Elijah and I was like, holy crap! I had like a good 10 meters on them. Wonderful.
Hmm.
On the ground, heads in so much pain, legs are in so much pain, trying to get as much air as possible. And then by the time I got up, JK was already getting the baton and running. And I was like, San Francisco caught us and we tied. I think they got us by like a tenth of a second, but we autoed in. I was like, take the dub. We're going to nationals. This is awesome. And the funny thing is, like, it was like a week and a half until nationals, and now I'm hearing rumors of COVID-19, and I'm like, don't you do this to me? Don't you screw me out of the only chance I ever had to get to nationals. And I remember telling my psychology teacher, I was like, I may not be here these next 2 days because, I'm not going to be here these next 2 days. I'm going to be in Alabama for the national meet. And she just told me, yeah, the COVID-19 is getting, don't say that. Do not freaking tell me that. I won't tell you to
Don't jinx it.
Don't jinx it. We get there, we practice, we had like one practice day. Next morning, we got the news that the meet was canceled. And boy, did I was like so upset. Because, like you said, I spent like my entire track career trying to do well at the big meets. And I guess say it only happened once, my very first season, that I performed well. But everything after that, I just like just nosed out the big meets because I think I just put too much into it. I thought too much of it, and I guess it just weared me down mentally and physically. And so the 1 year I let loose, COVID happens, and now I'm like, nothing I can do, and it sucks. But then again, it's like, then again, I guess maybe I always think that maybe things happen for a reason.
Hmm.
Maybe this one race that you had to get to nationals is all you needed to know that you're capable of getting there.
Hmm.
And now it's like, at least I have this. At least I have that moment. Because my high school track coach was there, and he saw me do it, and I was like, this is awesome. So I always think about the good stuff. I didn't even like want to think about how it ended. I just want to say that was my last race. It was a PR 49. So I think 49 flat, something like that, maybe 48.9, something like that. As a split, I was like, I'm taking that to the bank. No, actually it was. It was a 48-1 split.
Oh my God.
Because I know it was faster than my PR for the 400 open. So it was like a 48-1 split. It's like I'm taking that to the bank. My last race was the fastest race I ever had in my entire life. I'm taking it, so I'm happy about it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's painful sometimes, but like there are some moments where I just wake up and I just like reflect on certain meets where I'm just like,
Right.
it's like, oh my God, if I had just made that one simple change, I wouldn't be, you know, this would have happened. I would have done so much better. But like, I just keep telling myself, hey, you know what? Like, it's over. It's done. Like, you got the next, I have the next like 80 years of my life to
Yeah.
focus on right now.
I mostly
It's like,
miss the teammates more than the competing part.
mm-hmm,
Because I think it's just a fun environment to be around. And like, because you're with like a motley crew of like serious, goofy, some 50-50.
mm-hmm.
It makes a very fun family like environment. So it's like you kind of miss your brothers and sisters a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I definitely missed the culture aspect of it.
Yeah, it was
Where it's
just
like,
mayhem, and like I miss when we played music in the field house when we do workouts.
mm-hmm.
That I miss. It was always fun playing those musics.
Yeah, I like I don't know. I miss just talking specifically about the vaulters. I don't know, I just miss our vault days really much.
It must have been chaotic at times.
Yeah, there's just some days where just like we would have really really good days, and then we would just have not so good days. And but the days we're doing really really good is obviously the most fun because that's when we're the least stressed out.
Right.
And when you're not stressed out whatsoever, vaulting becomes so much easier, and you don't have to like get super tensed up, and you don't have to like just kind of you don't have to like not be yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's weird because like when it came to like the preseason part
Right.
of
It's like the first like the September October part of the season.
yeah, when I was like September October when we're doing like the early vaulting,
Mm-hmm.
that's when we were the most that's like the least stressed out.
And that's where you got like the most fun out of it.
Yeah, and then as we got closer into the season, Coach Wallen just kind of, reminded us, just like, hey guys, we need to like really kind of lock in because we have some big things planned this year.
Right.
And that's when like we,
It's kind of like you're, I don't want to say competing against one another, but you're kind of like pushing one another to be good, and it can create kind of like a tense environment at times.
oh yeah, like Milan, myself, Jesse, Nate,
Constantine.
yeah, Nick Constantini, Oliver, Zach, all of us, like
Yeah.
like we're always fighting to like climb the ladder of
Right.
like who's gonna be the best guy, but we know at the end of the day, as long as it's a southern guy who's on top, like we don't care.
Yeah.
like hey, if I'm gonna come second at this meet, or if I'm gonna come third at this meet,
You two guys better be first or second.
yeah, you guys better be first and second because we're not letting some other jabroni from another school beat us. Like it's not gonna happen, especially when it comes to competing against UConn or Yale or like.
It's funny because like the UConn meets were like
We're
it
by
was the first meet of the year for a lot of athletes, and it'd be like the most hyped meet of the year for us because it's essentially our version of a conference meet because it's an in-state. I mean, I don't think they care about us, but we care about them, and I remember because we did beat them in New England twice, back-to-back years outside.
Oh yeah.
And I know they were pissed that they lost to a Division II school. Just the fact that on the paper it says Southern Connecticut wins all New England region championship, and so UConn's either first or second or third, and it's like, what the heck? We lost to Southern. Like their facility isn't as good as ours. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they don't recruit like we do. It's like, yeah, but we work harder than you guys.
Yeah, I mean, like it's that thing. That's why I say I really miss the culture of the team because
Right.
that's really a big part of our identity.
Exactly.
Like the
We're
big,
obnoxious, like loudmouths that back up. We're like the Chiefs, but only we're track and field.
you know how I kind of see it. It's like you know how like some people say, "Oh, I have like an obnoxious little brother who
Yes.
says he's gonna beat me, but I know confidently he's not because I'm the older brother."
Mm-hmm.
And then the little brother is always beating the little brother's always beating the older brother,
That is a
and
great
then
example.
you're like, dude, what? This is not supposed to happen. And then the little brother's like, I told you so.
We are essentially the little brothers to UConn's older brother.
Yeah, technically, and then and then after we win, we look at UConn or Yale, and we're like, yeah, we're the older brothers now.
You know, you mentioned pole vaulting or September, October.
Mm-hmm.
I always liked September because I always wanted to see who worked out over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember one year, I think it was my junior or senior year, because I was doing all the workouts
Mm-hmm.
in the gym and on the track, and so I remember one time it was the very first outdoor practice on Tuesday, the hard ones.
Mm-hmm.
It was two sets of, I think it was 2-1-2. Yeah, two, 1-2. So 200, 100, 200. And it was the easiest workout I thought I ever had in my time because I did it so many times in the off season. And I saw so many guys that were kind of like bent over, they're exhausted, they're gasping for air. I was like, yeah, you didn't work out over summer.
Yeah, no, it's great because like you can tell very very easily who didn't train over the
First
summer.
week, you know exactly who worked out over the summer.
Yep, and then it normally it's the ones who talk,
Yeah,
the ones who talk who don't work out, and then you smoke them in the workout, and then it's mainly
the freshmen or sophomores.
yeah. I mean, it's the freshmen, but at the same time, this is their first Southern workout, so like
Yeah.
I kind of give them the benefit of the doubt. But if it's the sophomores,
Oh,
um,
talk about humility.
yeah, I'm like, oh my god, dude, like, please don't embarrass yourself right now. It's
I
not.
remember one time it was like it was in my junior year. It was my senior year. I think one sophomore told me to like because we're running 500s, and you know how our coaches are always cutting the rest.
Mm-hmm.
Like we know you're cutting the rest. You just tell us like your 90 seconds is actually like 80 seconds.
If it's 3 minutes rest, it's 2.
Yeah, if it's 90
Like-
seconds rest, it's like 80 or 70. It does matter for those who don't know track. It does matter about the rest because, I mean, if you don't tell us, we're not going to know. But if we're timing it, we're going to notice very quickly. I remember we would do the hill workouts on a Thursday, right?
Like a Tuesday or no, like Tuesday or Thursday.
One of those 2 days. So we would run up the hill. It takes they will say 3 minutes. It takes us about 9 seconds to get back down the hill, depending on how high you go. And I would get back, and it's been 90 seconds. So I know we got 90 seconds left. I hear Coach Cariciolo, a.k.a. Paco, he says, get on the line. And I'm looking at my watch, it's like, it's 1:30. We got, what the hell? There's no way, no way it's been 3 minutes. And I get on the line anyway, and I look at Paco, I was like, yo, what the heck, man?
I was like, bro, what do you... And like, not to sound like that guy, it's always him.
It's always
It's
him.
always him.
Then again, no offense, Georgia, if you're listening to this. No offense, but you did it a few times. Because I know that we were doing tempos. I know you did cut the rest a little.
Yeah, like though those extra 10, 15 seconds really matter.
It does matter.
Only because like when we're told that we have a certain amount of rest,
We're expecting it.
our body and our mind is already adjusting to like prepare.
It's mostly the mental part.
Yeah, we're like preparing, and all of a sudden you say, "All right, and go," and then your brain switches off. You're like, "Oh no, we have to go right now," and then your body comes out of like shock mode, and then you're just like, once you get those like 3 steps in, it's
Yeah.
the most painful 3 steps ever, and then you build into it. But yeah, no, it's always them.
All right, last question in this topic.
Yeah.
Pros and cons. So after you've gone, it's been like 2 years for you. Pros and cons of college, whether it's, I'm including like school, track and field. Like, what are the pros and cons of just college in general? What do you think? 'Cause for me, I already know. For me, it's like the pros is the track and field part because it's your break from getting the education, finding a way to make money outside of it, and just focusing and kind of like thinking about the next 3 years outside of school. Because track and field was a positive. Because I remember getting in class, I'm a little tired still because I didn't get enough sleep, and track and field waking me up, I feel great. And then getting back to real life, it's like, great. I gotta go to my internship. I gotta do two subjects and make sure I get my assignment done in Blackboard before 11:59 p.m. I gotta eat now. It's like you're going into a virtual reality at track and field. Now you're going back to reality. It's like sucks. And I guess the cons is the amount of money you spend on school, and just you feel like you're being worked like a dog all day. Especially if you're an athlete, it's kind of more. It's a lot different. I'm sure for football players, it's a lot worse because you have meetings after meetings, and you just have no time for anything else. But for track and field, it's still rough. So I think just cons is like the fact that because the name, image, and likeness wasn't a thing when we were in school, so you start to make money outside of that. Pros is the actual sport for us.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like the biggest pros when it comes to college is, yes, 100% definitely doing the sport part of it, because
any extracurricular activities, like whether it's a club sport or anything.
yeah, because like a lot of classes that you take in college, they want to try and teach you the principles of how to be an independent adult, when really those principles are like exactly taught through sports, whether it's how to communicate, how to plan, how to work as a team, how to how to be a leader, how to and ultimately just like how to be a competitor. Because I learned, and I'm sure you probably know this too, I learned very quickly after I graduated college that it is a really, really hard competitive world out there.
Yeah, it is.
And like, if you think you're like 5 steps ahead of everybody else, well, guess what? There's at least 100 people who are 20 steps ahead of you.
Exactly.
And like that, and the competitive part that you learn through sports, now you have to be a real competitor in life, whether if it's you need to be certified in a lot of things, you need to take some extra courses on your own, you need to really yes, you have to get 5-6 years of the experience if you want to get this job. Like
and you have to know people too.
Yeah, and just like if you're, and like I was a really, really quiet guy.
Exactly.
When I was like,
me to a certain degree too.
Yeah, like freshman year, I just probably said a max like 5 words to one person. Like I wasn't very social, and I got called out a couple of times for not talking a lot, but they had a point.
Yeah.
Which is like, if you really want to like, put yourself
out there, you gotta be distinctive. You gotta have like a voice.
You gotta talk.
Yeah.
Talk to people. You gotta introduce yourself. Don't be afraid to say hello. Don't be afraid to be like, hey, tell me about your weekends. Those kind of things. And like, so you can, they try to teach that concept through your college courses, but you can easily learn those concepts through sports as well.
Yeah. So, would you say that that's the one thing we've learned after graduating, is that how competitive the world is and how hard it is to at least find something, whether it's an entry level job or at least something that you can like get your foot in the door wherever you want to be?
Yeah, definitely. It's something that they say
very loosely in class, right?
Very, very loosely. Like they do say, oh yeah, it's a competitive world out there. Like, all you have to do is just work hard. And it's like, no, it's true, but it's a little bit more than just working hard. Like, and
unforgiving too, because I do remember one of my classes, and they were talking about resume building, all that stuff, and apply to job, you get a job. They said it very casually, as if it's just going to happen. And what happened to me was I ended up doing more volunteer work internships that paid either zero to no money, and I had to work at Home Depot that's exactly what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so my thought was, you guys need to put more emphasis and tell kids, you're probably not going to get there until maybe 3 years afterwards, unless you know somebody. Because I remember my dad or mother telling me about how my sister, because she's a pharmacist, they already have like a system in place where you can get to a certain spot, at least get an entry level job as soon as you get out of college.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work like that for guys who are in sports, because you have to know somebody. That's
Mm-hmm.
exactly what it is. You just gotta know somebody.
Yeah.
And it sucks because even if you do know somebody, oftentimes they know someone 2 years longer than you, or even 2 minutes longer than you,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll get the job before you will.
Yeah, and it's like there have been many instances throughout this past year, honestly, actually, where I applied for a job. I do a first round interview and a second round interview, and then I know who, like,
You have an idea who they're really gonna pick.
I have an idea who they're gonna pick, and it's like because they kind of show. I remember one particular job. They won't like they showed you who else was competing for that same
Really?
spot as you, like through this specific website, and I look these people up, and I'm just like, okay, this guy, like I definitely like all due respect to him, like I'm more qualified than that
Like,
guy.
you just know
And
you're better than him.
yeah, I was like, oh, and this other guy, like, I'm definitely more qualified than that guy. I was like, so I definitely like have a shot to get it. And then I get the email saying, it's like, hey, sorry, you didn't get it. And I'm just like, first of all, I'm like, okay, I understand, but like, how?
Yeah,
You know?
I swear to God, every email I've gotten before you even get the first interview says the same thing. It's like, and I feel like every business has the same like job denial letter. I feel like they all have the same thing. They just copy and paste it. Cause it's like, what the heck? Could you at least tell me what I did wrong?
Oh yeah, and then I reach back out and I'm like, hey, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, but like, is there anything that I can do from here on to get better?
Yeah. Like,
Whether if it's if I wanted this position in the future or something similar to it, I need to have X, Y, and Z first. Never reach back out to me, ever.
and that's like
and
that's
it's like,
a frustrating thing because as athletes, in practice and even during a meet or for some athletes in a game or a match, whatever the case may be. For example, after every attempt at whatever height you're attempting, you always go to Wallen or Nelson or even Milan, Jesse, Elena, whoever, and you're asking, what did I do wrong? Could I have done this better? Whatever. There's always a feedback after every rep or every practice. And for us, we have to guess or try to like change things. And who knows? Maybe what we're doing isn't wrong. But we never know because no one. All we're doing is talking to hiring managers, and they're telling us no. They're willing to tell us no, but they're not willing to go the extra mile telling us exactly, specifically what this could have done better. Because I've always thought about this like, to an average person, that might be like, okay, didn't work. But for us, it's like frustrating because we want to know what do we do wrong. Because we strive for perfection, even though we won't get there. But that's just our mentality, and if we don't get any feedback, we don't know how to get better.
and that's just how our mentality was trained through sports.
Yeah.
Is to be driven perfectionists, and it's like, I always want to drive to be better, and like, dare I say, perfect. I want to
Exactly.
be. I want to be the perfect guy.
Like we
but
already like some people say you can't be perfect. We know that, but that's just hard. That's just like
you can at least try to.
I'm gonna try. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I'm pretty sure Tom Brady isn't gonna go for 20 for 20 in a game. Don't tell me you can't try. Don't ever tell me you can't try. He's gonna try. I can tell you one story that really ticked me off, and still ticks me off to this day. I worked for Koa Sports League. It's a amateur sports league for flag football, baseball. Baseball is like the biggest money maker for the organization. I said basketball, field hockey, and I think that's it. So those 4 sports. So when I applied there, and the person that interviewed me, she got hired a month after me, and she's also a cross country and track and field athlete. So we immediately hit it off in the interview. It was easy. It's like, yes, someone that actually knows me, knows about me in some kind of way. And so the next 2.5 years, we were working together, just gathering content, working with marketing, newsletters, the whole 9. And then I felt like I felt like there's other opportunities for me out there, and like getting paid very little money per game, driving to Delaware, which is actually an hour drive, which is not that bad really, but driving to Delaware, York, Pennsylvania, D.C., for one occasion Virginia, just to capture a game or two. I thought I'm gonna try to go somewhere else, and I was still working on Home Depot, so it wasn't that big of a financial risk for me. And then like a few weeks later, she leaves, and so on I find out that they're hiring for a marketing director. So I thought, oh, this could be good because like I worked there for 2.5 years. I pretty much know how they operate. I've talked to the owner many times. I'm like, this is going great. So I told her, and she told me, apply there, apply there. So I apply, and then I didn't hear anything back for like a month or two. I let the owner know, that, hey, I'm letting you know I applied there. I let him know 3 times. A month and a half later, he tells me this. We already hired someone for a position. And I'm like,
Who?
you didn't even interview me for it?
Yeah.
Like you told me I spent 2.5 years gathering content that you're still using on your website and your social media pages. Hell, I even helped you build another website for your travel league, and you're not even gonna at least give me an interview. Because like if you interviewed me and you didn't give it to me, I was like, I'll be okay with that. At least you gave me a shot to talk to you. But the fact that you gave it to someone else who I still haven't figured out who it was yet, I was like, what the heck, man? I shouldn't hold grudges, but that rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. Like 2.5 years there, I can't even get an interview for a position that I worked that helped. The previous person was there. It's like that sucks, man.
Yeah, no, it's just one of those things where, yeah, no, I've experienced kind of the same thing. You put so much work into something,
Yeah.
and then like all you kind of wish was for your higher ups or for people around you to at least appreciate it and like kind of give you that credit you deserve. Especially if you want to progress forward in your career, and they just don't, or honestly couldn't like.
Silver lining is because I think there's two silver linings to this. Because that's like the next kind of question I want to ask is like, there's two of them. One is that at least there's people you have to at least help talk you through. It's like, hey, you're gonna get there because you have. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting her name. Your girlfriend, I'm forgetting her name. Alexa, you at least have Alexa to talk to.
Yeah.
To at least help you out. You have friends, you have family that at least helps you out. Like I always talk to my mother like once a week, to let her know what's going on, and she's saying, "Well, send me your resume. Let's help you out. All that stuff." Like the fact that like we both have family around. You have a significant other that at least keeps you in a state of calmness, and letting you know that okay, I didn't get a job. At least I have somebody there who's really put their arm around me. At least that's silver lining to everything else.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's just like surrounding yourself with good people.
Yeah.
Honestly, and it's just like, yeah, no, I'm definitely lucky to have her around, mainly because I know she's close by, and she's easy to reach to, easy to talk to. My my family, who I was with last week, that was probably the first time I saw them in like 3 months.
Wow.
And I've gone years without seeing them. Throughout college, like I never.
You never went home?
Yeah, no, I never went home.
I guess
I mean,
that's because you're just trying to figure out on your own in a way too.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things that was like kind of heavily encouraged by the track team and from my family, where, and that's one of the things I really teach to my athletes right now, is that when it comes to certain like complications or conflicts in your life, not like 70% of the time,
you should be able to figure out on your own.
Yeah, well, 70% of the time, someone's not going to be there to help you.
Yeah.
So you need to start learning now, like how to handle and figure out problems on your own.
Yeah, like pay bills, or if you have a flat tire, fix it on your own.
Yeah.
It's like real human stuff.
Oh yeah, and even when I was experiencing it in track, like I went through, the second half of my junior year, where I went through this weird mental block, and I just completely forgot how to jump.
Wow.
I forgot to pole vault. It was the most stressful time ever, and I didn't.
You went through the Spider-Man 2 thing. Like he forgot his powers, and he just couldn't do anything for like a good. That's pretty much that was your Spider-Man 2 moment.
It really really felt like that. Like it felt like I didn't. It's there, but I couldn't flesh it out.
That must have been frustrating as hell.
It was frustrating. It was scary. Like it was the scariest thing ever, and like I would ask Wallen for advice because I was just like, I don't know what to do. I'm trying to force myself to jump. I'm trying to, do drills to get back into it. But like every time I go to my full approach and I pick up that pole, my heart is racing.
Right.
And my head starts spinning. And then finally, I just got to a point during the summer. I was like, Coach, I need your help. I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, he just goes, Jack, I have resources to like help you get through, like to go through this obstacle, but he's like, all due respect, Jack, you need to figure this out by yourself.
Right.
And I was like, what? I was like, I've been trying. I don't know how. And he goes, you will. You'll figure it out.
That's so refreshing to know that, like, he gave you that tough coaching, but enough of, like, the love is, like, you will figure it out.
Yeah,
like, I know what you're going through, and trust me, what you're going through probably isn't as big as you think it is.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like, it really wasn't. Like, it just took a couple of things where, like, just when it came to full approach days and I kept running through, he was kind of like, we're not leaving here until you take at least one full jump. Like, we're not leaving. And it just has to be one.
Wow.
And then the next day, we'll do two. And then three. And then four. And then so on. And, but yeah, that's just, and then he just had we had this long conversation of, he has this quote in his email. I don't know if you remember, like his like.
I probably, you know, I think I did see it because I did email him when I first got to Southern, but I don't remember it honestly.
Yeah. But like he has this quote by this poet, and it's like, what matters most is how you walk through the fire.
Wow.
Which is like, it means, like the fire is like a symbolism for like life's conflicts. And if you walk through the fire, you can either burn up,
Okay.
or you could walk past it and keep moving. And he explains to me that whole concept where he's like, right now, your mental block is the fire, and like you can either let it, burn you alive, and you'll never get through this, or you just need to really take time to reflect and figure the F out. That's literally kind of the way, but he's like, you need to figure it out. And
Would you say that's your favorite quote you ever heard of?
oh yeah, and like I use that quote inspired me to like kind of have my own quote.
What is that?
It's from the movie Rocky Balboa, the fifth Rocky movie, and his quote was, it's not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things I really try to carry on now, because like, yeah, there's a lot of fires right now that I'm dealing with, but
You just got to persevere.
yeah, because I can't call my dad, and I can't call my mom and say, figure this out for me. I'm in my 20s now. It's like,
Yeah.
it's
You're
one
26, right?
I'm gonna be 26 in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's right. We're both August. We're both in the same month. We're both in the same month.
Yep.
You're like what, August 5th?
13th.
I'm August 24th, man. 11 days after you, I'm turning 25. You mentioned quotes. Like, there's 3 quotes that stay with me. My mother always told me, and I think this was like when I was in high school because I was struggling with chemistry. She told me, exhaust all possible options for losing your shit. And then my father once told me this. I think it had to do with track too, but I think it was like, you're not competing against anybody else. You're competing against yourself. And that's what he told me. And then later on, I developed my own quote because I used to get picked on a lot when I was in middle school. Like a lot of like microaggression. And for those who don't know microaggressions, it's when someone like really makes fun of you for a stereotype that you allegedly have. So a lot of people, the school I went to was predominantly white, and a lot of kids would always like say like, oh, do you drink Kool-Aid? Do you play basketball? All that stuff. Like they'll like just go into the heavy stereotypes, all that stuff. And it drove me nuts because I just didn't understand it at the time. But now I do, and it made it even madder. But then again, after a while, I kind of realized, because we're in America, freedom of speech, I always said to myself, you're allowed to say whatever you want about me.
Mm-hmm.
I have the right to not give a shit. So, if I don't care what you say, that means that you have the right to say that. I have the right to not care. Not because I don't value it, but because I don't need it for what I'm trying to do. Because oftentimes people would like gaslight you to do things because in a way they think it's best for you, but it's like, you don't know me, man.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what I know how to do or know how I like, you know, function or like, you know, motivate myself to do things. Like, it's just a simple like fire that you have in yourself, and like I know that like if I just keep on telling myself it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So I think one of the silver linings of like after college is that like we know now that nothing's guaranteed.
Yeah.
And even if you do know somebody, it's still not a sure thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it takes a little bit of luck, and you just gotta be ready for the opportunity to present yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never know what's gonna happen. Oftentimes it happens when you least expect it.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
Yep, and that's exactly how it was when when I first got the job at Post to be an assistant coach. You know, I didn't know that 3 months, not even 2 months later, into the job, the head coach is leaving,
Wow.
and I had to step in and take over the program. And then they hired another head coach, and then he quit after a week. And then for last fall, we got a new head coach, John Boisette, and he was by far like the one of the best mentors I've had.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah,
thought the way the build up to that, I thought you were gonna say the worst thing ever. But I was like thinking you said good.
Oh no, like and like it's in a lot of cases, good isn't like
Doesn't mean that
you
it
know.
was a great experience.
Oh no, I was saying a good can't really describe like how great he
Oh,
was. He's all positive. Trust me,
okay.
he's all positive.
Okay.
He, you know, he treated me with like a lot of respect. He gave me the title of head pole vault coach
Really?
for Post. He's like, he's like Jack, when you're in this coaching staff, and he hired like two other coaches. He's like, none of you are assistants. You guys have your own specialties, and from now on, you do not refer to yourself as an assistant
You are like
coach.
you are just
You
like the coach. It's like
you are
baseball. You know, manager. Then there's like
yep.
coaching of the like pitching coach, and then there's like hitting coach, outfield coach, infield coach.
Yep. He was the sprints and jumps coach.
Okay.
I was the pole vault coach. We had the cross country coach, and we had the mid distance coach.
Wow.
And you know that was like the first thing. That was like the first impression I got.
That's
And
also
it's
really
just
cool
like
because it kind of like eliminates the fact that you kind of like were second tier, and then that you can manage people.
Yeah.
And that kind of like because oftentimes the title that does mean a lot. It's like a headline. It's like the headline of a story. Like that newspaper up there says Huskies. Like it tells you all you need to know. Like it's just UConn won, it's national, but like, it tells you all you need to know about it. So oftentimes the title does matter.
Yeah. And it's just you know he taught me so much.
Yeah.
And he taught me like a lot of things of, you know, the logistics of running a program, you know, and then we later, and when it came to recruiting, you know, with all of us working together, we had over like, you know, 200 applicants
Wow.
for Post just based on track and field alone, and due to like, you know, certain complications with the school,
Like money, all that stuff.
well, like money and you know, we later learned that like Post just isn't, they're not really destined to have a track program.
Yeah, they weren't committed to the program. Yeah.
Just based on a lot of things. And he's like, Jack, I I really want to like build something, and here's not the place.
Right.
So
It was just bad timing.
yeah, and it's like, and then he announced that he was gonna leave. and I was just like, that is, like that's the best thing you can do because, and now he's like, but I want you to come with me.
Where is he going?
Well, he got hired as the head coach over at West Virginia State University, and now he's like, yeah, man, like I have like over 100 kids on my team, like you need to come, fucking coach for me, please. Like you
And
need
he
to
did
coach
it
Boval.
because
Well,
wasn't the right time for you.
it just a couple of things. It was like there wasn't, it just wasn't, the right. I guess it wasn't the right time. I guess, and it's like that thing I said earlier where I wanted to, you know, yeah, I tried coaching.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really my
Your
deep
passion.
my deep passion.
Yeah.
I want to progress forward from there. I wanted to try and mainly stay in Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't go over to like West Virginia.
It's funny 'cause
Um,
I'm like I was in Maryland. And I was like, that's 2 hours away from me.
yeah,
So
and
Lord knows, so like that's like 7 hour drive, man.
yeah, and he's he has a really good reputation with that school now.
Wow.
I think West Virginia State is a HBC, and this is the first time the school is ever going to have a track program. And they gave him a reasonable budget, and through his background with coaching, he
And
has
how he
like,
kind of like built up enough of posts where it came. It kind of looked very impressive.
oh yeah, like he made it like he's like I've trained Olympians, professionals, All Americans, conference champions, everything. He's only 29.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, no, and
Dude, he's gonna go places now.
yeah,
If
and
you're able to do that before 30, that's impressive.
he trains fighters too. Like he trains pro boxers and pro MMA fighters.
Oh,
Um,
damn.
I was like who's like the biggest, boxer you've ever like, worked with? Just like a random question. But he's like, "Oh, I've worked with Mike Tyson a couple times."
Jesus Christ,
And I go,
man.
"What?" And he goes, "Yeah, I met Mike Tyson. He's a really, really nice guy. Just don't make him upset."
That seems easy to
I'm like,
say and hard to do.
that's terrible. I'm like, I will be the nicest guy to Mike Tyson ever. But then there's also that question in my mind. It's like, what if Mike Tyson doesn't like two nice people? What happens? Like,
That's something I would say to me. I would say the same thing. It's like, what if he doesn't like me being nice?
it's like, what if he doesn't like people being? What if he likes it if you're, just
An asshole.
yeah? What if he likes it when you're an asshole? What if he likes it when you're just if you just shut up and don't say anything? Like, I don't know. I feel like Mike Tyson is just one of those guys where it's like, no matter, you know, how you picture your altercation with him,
Right.
like I always fear the worst because he can just kill you whenever he wants.
Do
He's
you
a
think,
dangerous
have
man.
you like since you've been on your own, like in 2 years out of college? Because for me, because it's so hard to get into the broadcasting, filming business,
Hmm.
I had to make my own opportunities.
Yeah.
Because for example, like I made my own documentary of like the Washington D.C. Breeze, which is I gotta tell you was so fun to film and interview those guys. Like they used to have a Connecticut Ultimate Disc team, but it folded. But when I was there driving down to Washington, like those are like the best time ever because it it was just it was like they were serious, but they're also goofball. It kind of reminded me of our team, but only as Ultimate Disc, and they would draw great crowds, and like they would draw like 1,000 people sometimes for their playoff games, and like, it would look so full. It was so great, and making that documentary was awesome. And then like writing scripts or doing a broadcast of like the women's Ultimate Disc League. I feel like making my own opportunities made me happy, and then like when I made it and put it on YouTube and showed them and like got like 4,000 views on YouTube, and nearly 100 likes, got like 8 comments. I was like, all right, I can do it.
Yeah.
It kind of like and like they'll come up and like the very like I didn't see him when I finished it. I saw him like the next season. He's like, yo, that was an awesome documentary. I loved it. And some of our free agents that came in, they're like, yo, I saw the documentary. It was like really, really, really awesome. You gonna make it again? I was like, I hope so. Didn't get a chance to not because I'm here now. But they did win their opening round playoff game against Boston, so that was awesome. But like I felt like okay, I can do it. Like that moment, I was like, so it can work. So I need the right person to see it though.
Mm-hmm.
And so you need the right person to know like, oh, this kid is good.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Do you feel like have you like trying to make your own opportunities to like try and get yourself noticed, or is that kind of hard for what you're trying to do?
I guess it's kind of hard for what I'm trying to do, but definitely in the coaching realm, like, I can definitely try and make something
Yeah.
of myself. I've had the idea of running my own pole vault clinic for the longest time,
Mm.
and I feel like I do a really, really, really good job at it. Um,
I mean, because
I,
there's a school really down the road, Xavier High School,
mm-hmm,
and I know my coach is still there, Coach Stonier. I was like, because like when you're doing head coach for when you're doing coaching for pole vaulting, and then you say you're leaving there, I was hoping like, I mean, if you're working at Sliders,
yeah.
you'd always like go to Xavier High School.
Do you know who said the exact same thing to me?
LeBron.
Nick LeBron.
That's the first thing. Because I saw on Instagram he's working. It's like, holy crap, he's working at Southern. I mean, not Southern. Xavier. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no.
Thank God. Thank God. I was a 16 graduate. You have ripped my butt.
Yeah, no. Nick LeBron came in to Sliders one time when I was working, with the Xavier coaches, and then Nick LeBron's like, I was like, guys, this is Jack. You know, he and I went to Southern. His specialty is the vault,
Wow.
and we just chatted for a bit. You know, and Nick's like, you know, you should definitely, you know, look into the opportunity of like coaching for this team because we have some pretty good guys. And I was just like, you know, I'm like, if I'm able to fit it, then I'll definitely reach out. Nick, if you're listening to this, my schedule's kind of been all over the place, so I haven't been able to like really fit it in. But hopefully for this coming year, I'll be able to work something with it because that's something I really don't want to leave. Is pole vaulting.
Mm-hmm.
If I do become like an assistant athletic director for a high school or a head athletic director for a high school, like I wouldn't mind dedicating like a bit of time, you know, just kind of getting all the work that I need to
I
get
mean,
done in the past and just
I
like
know the
coach
head
vault.
coach at Xavier High School. I think I still know. I think I'm not sure if he's still there. No, he probably isn't there. But like the athletic director at Xavier High School is the reason why I'm doing track and field.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because he was our gym coach, and I would always go hard in gym because it's the only time I got some exercise and doing some activities because I stopped doing football, stopped doing baseball. I didn't was doing any sports, so that was kind of like my chance to just do some sports.
Yeah, and I mean, and the big thing I can really market with pole vault and my coaching is I was able to take a kid from the post track team.
Yeah.
He came in as a sprinter, but we were trying to figure out like what he can really do.
Mm-hmm.
So I made him into like a multi, and I saw like the kind of athleticism he has, and I was like, you know what? What if I just focused on training you in the pole vault? And he went from not knowing a single thing
About pole
about pole
vaulting.
vaulting, and now he's a 13-footer.
Wow.
And that was just on teaching him technique alone.
Really?
And that's something I remind, you know, if people ask me, it's like, do you think you're doing a good job?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, in these fields of the sport, you know, I'm still trying to learn a bit on like how to coach that particular area properly. That's why I'm asking around.
Mm-hmm.
But with vault, like I have a really decent grasp of what I'm doing,
Right.
and this is why. So hopefully with that achievement, because I think that's a really big achievement for myself, and I got him to place, you know, like top 5 in a conference for the CACC conference.
I ran into a person at there's a gym down the street called Club 24.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to do I think a back squat, and I saw this kid walking in with a Milton High track and field shirt. And so I asked him like, "Oh, you do track and field?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm a sprinter, all that stuff." I said, "Yeah." "Oh, you don't do it in college?" He said, "Yeah, all that stuff." And I mentioned I went to Southern. He said, "I'm looking at Southern." I was like, "I highly recommend it."
Yeah.
And I said, "I highly recommend it. Like,
Do it.
like, please do it." It's like, "Are you sure?" Like, trust me. The coach there, his name is John Wallen. He will push you to be great, and oftentimes, if you're really be committed, you will get there.
You will be great.
I was like, just trust me. Like, I recommend you just give it a look,
Mm-hmm.
and give it at least a season. Just trust me, you will have a fun time there. But yeah, you know what's funny? I rarely look at. I remember like the year after I left, I wanted to look at the Instagram page for Southern on social media, but I couldn't because it's like, damn it, like they're going to nationals. That should have been me. It was so hard to watch that.
Yeah, no, I've never been.
It just ripped me in the insides right there.
It definitely like I've been in the top like 15 several times in a row, but there's always those kids out in Colorado and Texas where I swear they see like a New Englander
And they're like,
about to
no
make the
way.
nationals. They're like, absolutely not, and then they just they vault a centimeter higher than me.
Yeah.
And what I don't know if like you experience this too, but like my previous jumps in the past, like they would have made nationals today,
Wow.
but like not back when I was in school. It's like
It's like
like
the timing of what you competed. I felt like the pool was
yeah.
so much thicker, and so that kind of nudged you out. But if you were just like born like a few years later,
Yeah.
you would have like just smoked everybody.
Yeah, it's crazy too because like I was looking at because Nate Llanos, do you remember Nate Llanos?
Yeah.
He jumped 505 this year.
And then won him.
And that got him the nationals. That put him like
Just on the edge of like qualifying.
no, that put him like a 10th, 11th.
Oh, dude, I would.
Do you know who the last guy in was? 495.
Oh my lord, I would be
And
sick.
when I was a senior, where I vaulted my best 503, guess who the last guy into nationals was?
504.
512. And then I'm like, so I'm looking at mark like those marks today, of like people
makes no
jump,
sense.
and I'm just like I'm like this is ridiculous. Like if I was in college right now and I vaulted that, I would be in nationals every year. But for some reason, every time like when I'm in like 14th, 13th place, the like the last minute.
Yeah.
Some jerk. It's just like, nah, I'm going half a centimeter higher than you.
You know what that reminds me of? Like, I can tell your reaction is probably. It reminds me of Sweet Love and Zach and Cody when Mr. Mosley screamed in the pot because he found out that Cody lost lost a girl or something. Like literally physically lost her, and he screamed into the pot. And when someone opened the pot later, it still had the scream in there. And I was like, that's Jack in a nutshell after that story. Someone told me the similar thing when I left Xavier. Because we couldn't beat, I think, we couldn't beat a certain team at sectionals or beat some team in conference, and I couldn't literally win the sectional meet or conference because I always get so close to winning there. And literally the next year, the team wins sectionals, the team wins the conference, and the guy who ran my 400 times slower than me, won the 400, and I was like, what? And one of my teammates like, I think because like the class that you were in was very, very talented, and maybe that's why you just get nudged out. And I was like, oh, I'm not trying to hear that.
It's like, yeah, like screw that. Sorry,
I'm
I'm
not
trying
to hear that. Mm-hmm. Have you been back at Southern since you graduated?
Yes, yeah, I have.
Like often, or is it like every like once a month or something like that?
Honestly, every now and then, when I'm coaching, when we're in season, when I was coaching, Wallen would always reach out to me and he's like, hey, like, you gotta come to Southern. You gotta come to Elm City. You gotta come, like...
Elm Shady?
No, Elm City.
Oh, Elm City. Oh.
He calls it Elm Shitty.
It is kind of shitty.
It is. But he's like, yeah, come to our indoor meets. And I'm like, absolutely. I go there. But recently, like 3 weeks ago, I was with Alexa, my girlfriend, and I was like, like what we should do? She goes, what? I'm like, I hear like Southern, Trinity, of course they do this as we graduate. Of course they do this. I hear they're redoing the turf and they're resurfacing the track. Let's go check it out. And then she goes, okay. So we go down there. It looks
wonderful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Of course. And we're like, and I was like, you know what, Lex, like, let's just walk through the campus, get some nostalgia, and I'll point out all the places where I did either something stupid or
That's funny. That's hilarious.
And in this building, I was like, I took philosophy, I took biology, I first class in college ever freshman year, almost failed it because I slept through the first half of my final. That was freshman year,
Wow.
and luckily I was able to race over for the last 30 minutes of the exam, and I BS'd the entire because it was a philosophy like paper booklet that they gave us.
Oh, okay.
They gave us a topic, and we had like an hour and a half to write down in great detail of like our personal beliefs, our reflection, and our overall philosophy on it. I had to write it in like 20 minutes.
Wow.
And there was like no limit to how much you can write. So I was like, if I can squeeze in like
5 lines.
5 pages right now, I feel like I have a good chance of getting a C.
At that point, you might as well go for the C.
Yeah. I was like, if I get a D, then like I'm not gonna hear the end of it. And of course, if I get a D right now, then that would mean I'd be ineligible to compete my freshman year. And yeah, I was freaking out. So I was like, I did it. I did that over there. He said, oh yeah, the student center building. This is where I met this person and this. I was like,
Wow.
just yeah. We were walking around the southern campus for like a good like 2.5 hours. And that was the last time I was at Southern. They added a new business building.
That I heard about. Yeah.
They're adding a new, like they had like we saw the whole like new nursing building, the new science building, and we were just like they added a lot of stuff
Right.
since we left, but the one thing that like just grinds my gears so much
Was the track.
was the track,
Was the
and they
track.
resurfaced it, and I found out, not through the Instagram post,
You found that through.
Wallen.
Oh my god.
Because when it came to the outdoor season, I we use this specific website called Direct Athletics.
Right.
That's how we enter into meets. Southern didn't have any outdoor meets posted, and I was like, "Whoa! Like, wait a minute." I was like,
What happened?
I was like, "Where are all the outdoor meets?" And then I text Wallen, and I'm like, "Hey, like, I was just curious. I didn't see any. Are you hosting any outdoor meets this year?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, Jack, I'm sorry for not telling you earlier. We're not hosting anything because our track's getting redone." And I go,
Excuse me?
"This couldn't have been done 4 years earlier."
Dude, there was a bubble on like the 300-meter mark. No, sorry, the last corner of like the track before you hit the straightaway. There's a bubble on like lane 5.
Someone definitely must have like tripped, like hurt themselves, and then finally the school's like, "Okay, now we have to resurface it," and it's like, where was that when?
And it's blue too. It's a nice, cool blue, dark blue color.
It's blue and gray, like
Jesus Christ.
alternating lanes, blue and gray.
Oh, like the indoor track.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, no, now I'm mad too. Now I'm mad because. Could they like fix the indoor track too? So you can fix that start line.
They're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna touch that indoor
They're not
track
gonna try it.
for because like not for a while at least, because like
They dumped a lot of money on
yeah,
that.
like they just invested a lot of money into this outdoor
Yeah.
football field track, and now it's like, okay, we put all that money over here, now we have
Like
no money.
We're waiting another 5 years so you fix that like dead like these. It's not even a track. It's just pebbles on this 50-meter start line.
Mm-hmm.
Like what the heck? It was there when I was there. It was there when you were probably a freshman. Maybe when LeBron was a freshman. Maybe when Paco was a freshman.
Oh yeah, those like at that 55-meter start line where it's just straight
Nothing.
pebbles.
Nothing. Yeah, it might be concrete there.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ! And fix the ventilation so we won't have freaking headaches. Because I feel bad for the freshmen that run their first workout inside and have serious like headaches after like just a warm up rep. Like that must suck.
Dude, like when when I was a freshman, before you came in, we had like these old bright blue pole vault mats.
I'm pretty sure.
And
I remember
and
that because you
yeah.
got new ones like my I think my senior year, so your first year of grad school.
No, the new mats actually came in my sophomore year.
Oh really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they came in my sophomore year. So Jesse never got to experience the old mats. Neither did Milan. Neither did like anybody. It was me and Lysandra who had like those horrible mats because they had like dust would just puff up
And
every single
you had to
time,
keep your eyes closed for a while after that, right?
and you had to try not to inhale it.
Ooh.
And like and these were like our only set of mats. So like we had to move them outside, and then of course New England being New England, rain
Yeah.
pouring, and then summer was coming around. We had to move them back inside, and then when you pick them up, they're still like carrying water. Freaking snakes were coming out, and then we're like,
Really?
whoa, wait a minute, yep, snakes, mice, and then Wallen's like, yep, it's time for some new mats.
Wildland can be so serious but so joking at the same time, where you don't know if you should react serious or laugh.
Yep.
It's one of the biggest mind fucks of being one of his athletes. Like sometimes
Yeah.
he's serious, but sometimes when you know it's a serious situation, when he jokes about it, you don't know what line to fall on.
Oh yeah, I've tried joking with him like one time
And it
about one
backfired.
thing. Like it just I didn't know how to react.
You fucking mess, man.
no, I was terrified because Wallen and I have like the exact same Dartmouth Relays shirt
Yeah.
back when I was a freshman.
He does wear that sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, it's a really great shirt. Like it's in my car right now actually because I wore it when I wear it when I work out. But he pointed out, he was like, "Oh yeah, Jack, I have like that exact same shirt." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I noticed that too. But the only difference is like this is an extra large. Hopefully you'll fit into it one day." Like jokingly,
And
and
you're like, wait.
and
Okay,
then it be
you're like praying yourself that
that was
something that lands.
like that punchline was like awesome. But then it got so quiet in the room that like you can hear a pin drop, and then I just knew I was like, I messed up.
And you're like, please someone laugh. Please someone laugh.
And then I giggle. I was like, ah.
I tell you,
And then he goes, go warm up. And I go, all right.
you and Wallen,
Okay.
you and Wallen is the equivalent of Star Lord and Yondu,
Yeah.
or Eric Foreman in Red.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
I'm telling you, when I saw you and Wallen, it's either like Red Foreman and Eric Foreman, or Yondu and Star Lord. It's either one of those two, because
Like Eric Foreman from That 70s Show, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember one time, I think Kitty got mad at Red, and then Eric thought I'm making a joke, and Red just stares at him with the most angry look.
Yep.
And he's like, "I'm sorry."
I'm sorry.
I was like, dude, you're such an idiot.
Yep. Yep, that's how it was sometimes.
When you say like, I'm trying to think, because we're talking about Southern now. I'm thinking about one of my funniest moments from Wallen right now was my freshman year. I was told because Luke pulled his hamstring, and so he couldn't compete at the New England meet, and so he put me in there, and so it was our first Tuesday practice of the week heading to New England. Coach Wallen, I think maybe Nelson was there too. They walk up and he tells Emily Maffio, I don't know how to pronounce her last name now because she's married. He tells her, "Hey, you qualified for New England's," and she's like, and by the way, she runs the 400 now. She was running 400 at that time, and she was like, "Really? In what?" And she's like, "The 400, you jackass!" I was laughing for a good 5 minutes. Because it was honestly a dumb question to ask. Like,
Yeah.
what else were you competing in this year? That's the event you're competing in. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah, in college you realize like how kind of dumb you can be.
Oh yeah,
But like,
when your coach calls you out for being dumb and everybody laughs, it's not that bad.
yeah, but what makes it fun is like everyone can just look at it and just joke about it.
Yeah.
Now, I mean,
Here's
I'm thinking of a bunch of I'm getting
games that made for you.
yeah. Yeah, no, I'm thinking about like all the dumb things that like all the vaulters have said that just made me burst out laughing
What's funny?
so hard.
This was I was thinking about making a meme about this, but I didn't do it because it was a while out there. It wouldn't make sense at that time, but I think it still would make sense. But there's a clip of Stephen A. Smith saying, "Well, let's be nice. Let's be nice. We don't have to go there. You're not wrong. You just have to say it." I was like, um, I was gonna put in the caption, Milan insults calls out Atlanta for honor shit, and then like it's Wallen who's Stephen A. Smith saying, "Let's be nice. Let's be nice," and in the background is Jalen Smith laughing. I was like, JackBrown in the background laughing his ass off. I was gonna send that to you. It's like this is definitely accurate to you guys right now.
Yep, that's just how we are. That whole exchange of from the the whole conversation from Guardians 1 was probably the most accurate conversation I've probably ever heard. I am
You guys are Guardians in a way too.
I am Hayden.
You guys are Guardians in a way too, and like you can say that Coach Wallen and maybe LeBron's class is the Ravengers,
Oh yeah, they're definitely the Ravengers.
and maybe like the rest of the team is just Nova Corps.
Now the rest of the team is the MCU in some way.
In some way. You want to do a speed round of just random questions? Because I think we already covered enough what I want to cover in the topic. I made like a speed round of questions.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so which final movie in a trilogy do you think was better? Guardians 3 or No Way Home?
No Way Home.
No Way Home, you prefer that?
Yep.
All right, next one is, yeah, I guess you already answered. I might answer the question again. What do you think of Southern Connecticut's new track field?
Makes me angry, but I'm also it makes me angry that I'm not there to experience it. Bad timing, but I'm happy that's being done.
Do you understand how many meets we have won outside, or how many New England meets we have won outside? We got that track like 4 years early.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't like we were struggling to win, but imagine how many more points we could have scored.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
We could actually see where we're going.
Jeez. And no more bubbles on the track.
No.
And no more bubbles on the track. Your dream car.
The latest model of a Jeep Wrangler.
I want a 1978 Chevrolet Mustang in purple. That's what I want. Your favorite sports moment. Let's make it two-part. One you've been part of and one you've witnessed.
The best one that I've been a part of,
Yeah.
was my junior year indoor pole vault conference. And this is when the entire team was surrounding the pole vault pit.
Oh,
And
yeah, I remember that.
I was the final guy, and it came down to my last vault to win the event.
Mm-hmm.
I cleared it. That was the second highest vault in the championship history.
Mm-hmm.
And then like everyone exploded, everyone blew up. It was so awesome. And then later on, the Southern Athletics media team wanted to like interview me, film it, like film my practice, and they wanted to use that to market Southern.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's an awesome moment.
it was awesome. I still have that video saved, even though I was so nervous. Like I'm really bad in front of cameras, so like I was supposed to say runway, but I said one way, like I was a baby. And I got picked on so much for that, and it was just that. But yeah, like that whole experience is awesome. The best sporting moment I've ever witnessed: Messi and Argentina winning the World Cup.
Wow.
I wasn't there, but I watched it live.
Nice.
But the fact that I got to see my favorite athlete of all time achieve his dream of winning the World Cup for his country, was so awesome.
I think my favorite moment I've been a part of was like when I think this happened my sophomore year or my junior year. It was a New England meet, and I think I didn't qualify for 400, so that sucked. And I did well at the DMR, so that was awesome. But like coach put me in the 4x4 for all New England, and UConn was there, URI, we're in that race, and I got the baton, and I remember. I'm not sure if it was either URI or UConn, but someone passed me on the outside, so I bounced on the outside as soon as that happened, and I just hit the last gear and separated myself for like 5 meters, and gave my baton to Elijah, and he just booked it. But that was my favorite moment because they thought they had me. I like, nope, you don't have shit, man. I got you. It was awesome.
That's awesome,
I think my
dude.
favorite one I witnessed. was, I think it was. Oh, I remember this one because I was on the broadcast for this one. It was like last year, Washington D.C. Breeze versus Philadelphia Phoenix. They're down by 2 goals, and they get a break. They get a goal to tie it, and then they get the baton, no, not the baton, the disc, off a mistake. So they got like 10 seconds left. They're like about 30 yards away from the goal. They, make their play and they toss it. They get the disc out of their hands at 2 seconds. The disc is in the air, and by the way, I'm on the camera that's live that captures this, and I flip it to the person because I'm peeking at the left. I'm peeking out the left corner of my eye to see who's it going to, and the only person I see is this guy in the goal. So I flip it direct to him, and he catches it, bobbles it, catches it before it hits the ground, and they win.
Oh my god!
And I caught it live, and then so I can hear the broadcast over the headset saying, "Wait, they catch it? They catch it?" Because I think they're looking at it from the wide shot. You know, like you see the wide shot from like soccer or football. Looking at it from the wide shot, they couldn't tell that the disc hit the ground. So they get the replay from my camera angle. He said, "Oh my god, we caught it!" Like, "Oh my god!" And all I hear in the kids is like, "Yo, great job, Trinity! Thank God, great job for catching that play! Great job for catching that play!" I was like, "Yeah!" And they go to my camera for the final interview. I was like, "This is awesome! I caught it!" And so I reposted it like the next day and saying, "Yeah, I wonder who on this camera caught it." You're welcome.
I saw that.
Yeah, you're welcome for capturing this play. All right, your favorite video game?
That's a hard one. I'm sorry to be this person, but you gotta specify what kind of video game. Like sports game.
In general. That's even harder.
That's hard. Okay, fine.
How about this? What is no sport game? Just so anything outside of that.
Okay, my favorite game. I guess this is the.
And yes, PC gaming does count.
My favorite video game, just in general, that I can pick up and play any day of the week, Skyrim.
I used to play this a lot when I was a kid. Second is Mario Kart. But I would play Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. And like I would play that game to death because I used to love playing Batman versus Scorpion. Because I feel like those guys would just kill each other in a real fight.
Probably.
But I thought about this. I thought about this when I was in Southern. It'd be funny as hell if the entire football team were to play Mario Kart.
That would be the most chaotic thing
That
ever.
would be the definition of chaotic. Like, just put you guys in. If you don't put, here's the thing: don't put all you guys in a room together. That'd be even worse. Just separate rooms, headsets. Just go for it. I could tell you would red shell lane at the line. You would do it.
I don't know.
You would wait just so how close you can get to use like freaking red shell or blue shell.
I don't know. I'm terrible at Mario Kart.
I'm
terrible. If I was good,
you would definitely red shell someone at the line intentionally. You would wait and red shell someone at the line.
Oh yeah, I would like either one of them. I would just.
I can see you do it to Milan.
Yeah, probably Milan, and then he'll probably like just go, Jack, bro, why? Just in that order, just like why?
Do you remember this is the next question? Do you remember the LSU versus Iowa national championship game for the women's basketball?
Yeah.
What did you think about the Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark, interaction? Because for me, I can tell you right now, I had no issue with that, and the only people who have an issue with that never played sports in their entire life, or at least a high level sports in their entire life. Those are the only people who have a problem with it. What did you think about it?
And you're referring to when she was like doing the whole like
you can't see me think back to her, yeah,
that kind of thing. I mean, I personally didn't have a problem with it.
Okay.
I just, but there's a little bit inside me where like, for me, actions speak louder than words, especially when you just won.
Yeah.
And you beat your opponent. Like, for me, unless they did something like really, really awful to you, you don't have to go the extra mile to like kind of rub it in. It's almost like you beating them is rubbing it in.
Right.
That's just how I see things. But like, if they're doing this
all
and
through the tournament and all that stuff.
Yeah, and then they're like going to media and then they're like, really, talking trash.
Yeah.
Then like that's I'm like, okay, just wait. it's gonna bite you in the ass.
Yeah.
Like karma's gonna hit you,
Mm-hmm.
and when you're like, oh, well, that's not supposed to happen. No, like everyone at that time was probably telling them like, I told you so.
Next question. Christian Bale or Robert Pattinson? Who's a better Batman?
That's really tough. I really, really liked Robert Pattinson as
Oh
Batman.
yeah, he was like really good. Like I was like, yeah, I was like, you were right to tell me to give him a shot. I was like, damn, that was really good. That was an awesome movie.
Yeah, that was like,
A
I don't
long
know.
ass movie, but it was awesome.
Oh yeah, I can't remember how long it was. Like
3 hours. It's like 2 hours and 59 minutes. He was like pushing
yeah,
the 3 hours.
it was like 2018, 2019 when they announced Robert Pattinson was gonna be Batman,
Yeah, it was
and
2019. 2019.
yeah, then everyone was doubting it, and then I was. It was you, me, and like Nick Constantini, who are all three. Was like, dude, we're like, give the guy a chance because
Yeah,
he's like a really really good actor.
he must have did something that must have like said like, okay, this can work.
Yeah, especially when Matt Reeves was like the one
Yeah,
who was directing. I think it was Matt Reeves.
it is. Yeah.
And because he's a really really talented artist and director. So like yeah, I mean I love Christian Bale as Batman, even though to this day his voice still kind of like
Haunts you.
makes me giggle a little bit and just like
Where are they?
it's kind of cartoonish, but like that's the one change I really liked with Robert Pattinson. It's like he just did his normal voice. He's just really
He made it
mel-
more of a morning voice kind of thing.
yeah. It's
You know,
like
you wake up, you're a little bit, you're not really
he's like,
there yet.
it's like you know who I am.
Yeah.
Like he changed it a little bit,
enough
but
where
it was
enough where you can tell it's a Batman voice.
yeah. But I would honestly I would say right now a lot of people may hate me for this, but yeah, I'm going with Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, I think so. I just think that it felt like more of a Batman movie.
Oh yeah, and
They're gonna kill the second one.
I'm really curious to see who the villain is.
It better be Mr. Freeze.
I think honestly it might be, but I'm hoping it might be like Calendar Man because
That'd be fresh.
like they based the Batman on the last Halloween comic.
Yeah, long
The long Halloween, and I think Calendar Man would kind of like would be a good follow up with that because it's almost like if he's the kind of guy who commits specific crimes based on certain holidays or days of the week, and I think that'll be like kind of a good murder mystery for him.
Honestly, anything that's not the Joker, I'm cool with.
Yeah, and of course they hint to the Joker. I like
It's like
that
you don't
very.
need a Joker, man. We already had the Joker too many times. We're good.
Yeah, and yeah, I would like Mr. Freeze. I would like Calendar Man. I would like Hush.
What's that guy's Clayface?
Clayface. That'd be hard though. Like, how would
It
they
would.
do? There are rumors where like they'll have like a psychopath who has like this weird skin condition, but he's like a cannibal, and
Oh.
and like
Isn't that just Killer Croc?
I was about to say, and they're gonna make him Killer Croc,
Awesome.
which I think is like kind of silly, but
I'm okay with it. I mean, like Killer Croc versus Batman. I mean, I want to see Batman fight somebody, like in a fight. I want to see him like actually go toe to toe with a villain, like just hand to hand combat. I want to see that now. So 2 more questions. Your favorite workout day? So is it like like on an upper body day, lower body day? Like what muscle groups do you like working the most?
I really like back.
Really?
Yeah, I like. There's something about me being able to do a certain amount of pull-ups
Oh
that
yeah,
that
I'm
like
trying to do some more pull-ups.
that just I don't know. This gives me like that confidence boost. Or like if I can do a lot of pull-ups today, then like I can literally do anything. I like chest, but honestly, like I think now, back day is my favorite.
I like chest and triceps days. I mean, because it's like the first day of the week. It's a good starting day for me. All right, last one. Do you think the government is hiding an alien?
If they are,
Is his name Paul?
is it Paul? Does he smoke? Does he drink? Can he party with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost? If he
You
can't,
know what? I was thinking about this. Like, if there is an alien there, how the hell did we capture him? He didn't like just destroy us. That's what I want to know. And second of all, if we captured him, then it ain't gonna do jack shit to us. Cause like if we're able to capture him with our government, then we're good. But then again, it's like, please tell me you have him restrained to where he couldn't make any noises. Cause if he signals any more aliens, we're fucked. We are so fucked.
Yeah, I mean, if they are hiding an alien, I think word is out now that like there's, they're probably hiding one. Just come out and say it. Be like, hey, we're hiding one. At least we told you the truth.
Yeah.
Can you see it? No, but at least we told you that it's real.
Yeah, is his name E.T.?
Yeah, if it's E.T., if it's
can I ride a bike?
if it's from Krypton, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, is it like no? I can totally see what somebody saying. Is it from Krypton?
Is it Superman? If it is, please don't make him mad. Or like if it's Omni-Man from Invincible.
I haven't seen Omni-Man.
Have you seen like the Invincible series on?
No, I haven't seen it.
It's really, really good.
I've heard that. Yeah.
But it's really, really violent.
All right, I'll watch it then.
Yeah, it's it's comic book cartoon based. So.
Oh, I actually have one more question after that.
Sure.
Your favorite childhood TV show?
I have a ton.
I can tell you mine. It's either Avatar: The Last Airbender or Teen Titans.
Ed and Eddie or The Simpsons.
Ed and Eddie, man, that was an awesome series.
I loved Ed and Eddie as a kid.
One on the bun. My parents.
3, 5, 4, 5. I smell rings and onion bun.
My parents. My mom told me I couldn't watch that show.
I don't blame them.
It was a dumbass show, but it was funny as heck.
It's really dumb, but it's super funny.
I remember one time I think they were trying to get a balloon, and Ed threw Naz in the air, and it's like she didn't grab for it.
I just I love how like ridiculously inhumanly strong Ed is.
Yeah.
He just picks up an entire. I was like, oh, the first base not under here. Just.
I remember one time he picked it up and like I think it was either Eddie or something. He's like, dude. Destroyed him.
Whoa, where'd you get that piano?
There was one time I was watching, they're in school, and Naz and Sarah are fighting, and Sarah threw a freaking toilet at her face. I was like, why are you so violent?
Apparently, Ed and Eddie is based in Canada.
I'm okay with that.
Like, it's a Canadian show.
That is the most backwards logic ever, because you're like, the stereotype of Canadians are too nice, and yet we see them trying to, like, con out kids for jawbreakers and actual violence that makes the Batman look like a love tap.
They're literally promoting business scams, just to get 25 cents.
And this is the thing, they actually got it, but they couldn't get out of like the wrapper or whatever, and it's stored there for years, and he couldn't get it. Like even when they do get it, they still can't get it. It was the most. They never get the jawbreakers ever.
And then when they do, they instantly lose it. But my favorite character in that show was
Johnny
and Plank. We're not going to go into that.
Johnny 2x4.
Johnny 2x4 Plank. I also liked Rolf.
Son of a shepherd.
Rolf. No one can figure out where he was from.
I think that was intentional. They didn't intentionally reveal where he's from because they wanted to make him more of a mysterious. Like they want to be able to do more with the character, so that way you can't nail down where he's from. So they can be accurate with everything. So they keep it a mystery. They can do whatever they want.
That's true. Although I theorized that Rolf is Polish. That's just my theory, but.
But Ed, I remember one time Eddie pulled his pants down and mooned Kevin, and like Ed's like, "Ooh, I'm turning into a wolf, Eddie." That was literally Ed had some low-key funny quotes. He low-key had funny quotes. Wait, you remember Jimmy Neutron?
Yes.
I saw it on Instagram where they had a caption, "Girls, I want a guy who's 6 foot tall, handsome, has a good job," and the boy's like. A, and then she's
girl.
Like, A,
she's a girl.
Female. 2, she's not a boy. And 3, most importantly, she's a girl. I was like, Jesus Christ, my childhood shows hold up. Let's go.
There's that. And then there's that one clip. It's like, well, Carl, I want to tell you the news, but the best way I'm going to do is to tell Sheen because he'll just blurt it out. Carl's pregnant. Yeah, Carl Weezer.
I like how Jimmy Neutron and Sydney are in love, but they just don't want to admit it.
No.
That was the funniest thing. Like, they're literally pushing each other to tell the other one that they love each other, but they won't do it because they're so prideful in them and how smart they are.
Think of it now, like, Sydney is very egotistical, but so is Jimmy in a sense.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They're both
Jimmy-
egotistical, and that's why they're made for each other. You know, I think there was a deleted scene where Jimmy tells Sydney that her mother may not be her mother because they have different hairstyles, different eye colors.
Like, that's messed up.
It is messed up. And I actually went and researched. I found parts of the script for the final season because it actually ended way sooner than it actually did. The only reason why is because I think the company that produces, like, that gives the financial backing for the show went out of business, so they couldn't do the show. And so, like, I actually went out online and actually found, I'm not sure if this is real or not, but I found, like, at least from an episode, scripts, like, early drafts of the script for the final season.
Wow.
And I started reading, I was like, I can hear this script. I can literally hear every word and know exactly what their facial expressions are. This is so awesome. Alright, man, it's like 8, almost 9 o'clock, so I'm going to end the podcast here.
All right.
Hour and 35 minutes. That's awesome.
That's solid.
I just want to thank you guys for listening to the Podcast Island episode number 8. This topic was pretty much about life after college. Jack's about a year older than me, so he's been out of college for 2 years. For me, he's 1. You can hear this podcast on the One Man Island YouTube channel. There'll be clips posted on TikTok and Instagram. JackBrown, thank you for making the drive down here.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
And I'll see you guys in the future.